Well, back in Cairns, back in Clare Street, Cairns. Just back from my longest trip ever overseas. Oh, that's not true. My longest trip ever overseas to one country. That's how I'd categorise, because I did actually go for a 2-month plus journey many years ago, which went right through Europe and then back via South America. And I should have taken longer on that trip, but as it turned out, I got a bit homesick. I doubt whether that would happen these days. I was a little sad leaving Saigon. It is a fun city, but I'm sure my liver will be very happy because I did drink excessive amounts of booze, and it is cheap. I just checked out my letterbox, absolutely stuffed full of stuff, and there's about three or four of those Australian Post messages saying I've got to collect stuff. So I think there's a fair bet that I've got a dispute with the Administrative Appeals Tribunal. Well, I'm not a dispute with them. They've got to adjudicate on a dispute I've actually got with Centrelink. So that thing could drag on forever. And they knew I was overseas, and they were going to have this tribunal happening while I was there and go to phone me. But that never happened. Something's changed, and I don't know what. Just because I'm the person bringing up the dispute, I'm told nothing, so that's typical. Apparently there's some paperwork that Centrelink had to send through to me, because, you know, so much for the paperless office. There's stacks of paperwork still in this world. I've got to say that the weather here is fantastic today. It really is a nice day. This is much better weather than Saigon currently. Saigon's getting pretty warm, and this is getting back to ideal weather in Cairns. Although apparently I've missed a lot of rain here, and I think it only rained about 3 days in 7 weeks that I was in Vietnam. So that's quite amazing. It was dry as a bone. But they're going to cop a lot of rain at some stage soon. So it's a really good time to leave. So all in all, it's a great thing to do. Oh, gee whiz, the fucking pipe. That is, I don't know what's happened to my hand. It's just blown. Where's it gone? What the hell? I've never struck that before. I seriously don't know where it's gone. It's gone under a car or something. It's just... What? Hold on. Here it is. Bloody hell. At least I found it. Wow. As I was saying, it's a nice day. Of course, I bloody get a gust of wind that blows the hat off. So how ironic is that? Wow, that is a strong wind. I didn't experience that in Saigon, but yeah, you do get a lot of wind in Cairns. But apart from that, it's actually a really nice day. Still a bit pissed off I couldn't get my gin yesterday. It's sort of a tradition now for me to get my duty-free gin when I return from overseas. But I couldn't believe it. They only sold Blue Sapphire, the most upmarket gin out. And I'm not a gin snob, so I actually looked up Murphy's just before and found out that you get a 700ml of Vickers. Didn't even know they still made the stuff for $34. And even though I think the Blue Sapphire was going for about $80 for 2 bottles, and that was probably 1.25 litre bottles. So I guess compared to its normal price, it's cheap. But I don't really care about it. I just didn't want to buy that brand, so I just got pissed off with them. They didn't offer any other brand like Beefeater, which they normally do. They generally have Beefeater and Gordon's. This mob had nothing, just one label. And that's bloody stupid because they just lost a customer because of that. So I'll just drink less gin. I mean, usually I get the 2 1.25 bottles. I'd be happy just to have a 750ml bottle and have the occasional G&T. Don't have to overdo it. The Jameson's still cheap, so that's always good. So yeah, they're going for about $40 a bottle, so that's pretty reasonable. So I'll just pick up some liquor at Murphy's. But the travel in general is fantastic because it just refreshes you. I feel more inclined to get a few home projects going. I've let things go. I've got a lot of electrical work to be done. I've got the funds to do it. I just haven't had the inclination. But you know, I feel more energised to do it in spite of the fact I'm still trying to get rid of this Saigon cold which persists. However, it just gives you a fresh perspective, and I feel a little more motivated, and that's always a good thing, and it seems to always happen. The pattern's pretty well formed. I panic like crazy before going on a trip, and even though I'm a seasoned traveller and returning, it does get reversed. So it is a good thing to do. It's always good to get out of your comfort zone, in my opinion. So, and it's been validated yet again. Now I just got to get some food. I actually stuffed myself full of mussels of all the things when I got home. That's one thing I had in Cairns, and I had some dry biscuits, and I feasted on those last night. So, that was interesting. I think this is a new edition, this thing here. I don't think this was here before. So they've upgraded the market. Now, have they fixed up the area where it dips? That's the big question, because they have had a lot of rain here. I heard that there was a day where it's 200 mils, I think. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's quite plausible given what I experienced prior to leaving for overseas. You had so much rain, it was not funny. Oh, all my plants died. I mean, I did actually put in those crystals, those water crystals. Only one plant is surviving, and it seems that might be a I don't know if it's a weed, but it's not something I planted. I don't think it's so. Yeah, my whole garden's died on me, which is a bit disappointing, but I'll just have to get some more seeds and maybe get some manure or something to give it a bit of zip, so that hopefully the plants will perform better. I've still got some of that really crappy Brunnings potting mix in some of the pots, or probably the majority, and that's not good potting mix. So I have got better stuff like Yates in the smaller ones, and that should last a bit longer. And I've also got fertiliser that I bought, but I don't know if I'm applying too much, and that's always an issue, I guess. Maybe safer to use something like manure, where you probably can't over fertilise quite as much. But yeah, so that was the downside. The garden's gone, but overall a big positive. And I'd like to go back there, but I wouldn't do it for 7 weeks ago. I think I'd do it for less than a month. So, and they have actually finally upgraded this area. See that? How long has it taken to work out they needed this? Well, it's sort of almost flood-proof now. That's good. Bloody council's taken years to make that decision. At least they've done it. So there's been some level of upgrade along this path, because it does get used a lot. A lot of people go along here. So that's a huge improvement, having that metal slab there. So credit where credit's due. Now I've got to head off to Coles, back to good old Coles after so long, and almost tempted to do a Murphy's run today, because there's at least 2 items there I want to purchase. So what I probably should do at Coles is get myself some Indian tonic water to go with a bit of gin. Because like I say, it's a bit of a tradition for me to have G&Ts after coming back from OS. So even if I can't get the duty-free variety, I'll buy El Cheapo Vickers. And I'm not a gin snob. I mean, I very rarely come across a gin I don't like. As a matter of fact, I don't really like Gordon's that much, and Gordon's cost more than Vickers. So it's not about money, it's about the flavour. And I even thought the Vietnamese version of gin was alright. I had a G&T that was made from local gin. That was 35,000. So, you know, that's really cheap for a G&T, a mixed drink, and well, that means it's just slightly over $2 for a mixed drink at a restaurant. Wow, that's hard to beat. So yeah, like I said, feeling good. It's a nice day. I'll front up to PJ's at some stage soon. I've got myself a bloody 8 AM medical appointment on Monday. Isn't that great? Oh well, in a way it's good, because at least hopefully I'll get seen to straight away, because there won't be anybody in before me. That must be one of the first appointments. Just checking up on my eyes. I had an eye op a couple of years ago, and you don't want to stuff around with your eyes. I'll definitely go there, but it's like a fairly I don't know, it's been 6 to 12 months since I last saw them, because it's actually worked out really well, the op. I'm very lucky, because the prognosis was for me to have a degradation in eyesight, which I could really do without, considering I've already got bad eyesight. Anyway, so that's good. And my nothing was nicked, everything's intact at home, so it's all worked out pretty well. And I don't have to dodge motorbikes on footpaths. That's a nice change. I won't miss that. That's absolutely infuriating from time to time. It's probably the biggest downside of being in Saigon is the motorbike situation. Then again, it's really nice to ride on the back of a motorbike. That's something I don't do here. And again, I wonder whether it's legal to have a ride service where people do get pay to be on the back of a motorbike. I guess here the labour's so expensive, that's more the cost as opposed to the petrol. So in Vietnam, of course, it's mainly to do with the petrol cost, and of course that's tiny on a bike compared to a car, because labour's just not that big an issue. And I already said this, but I couldn't believe how cheap my fare to the airport was. It actually did bump it up 10,000 to 48,000. It was initially 38. It might be to do with the airport, and he had to go out probably twice because he went to the wrong section, because I should have basically told him I wanted to go international, because you're going to get a Grab driver. They're not professionals. You can't expect them to understand any English, even though I did say international on the destination. He obviously couldn't read that, so I should have basically just used Google Translate, which works perfectly well for that type of application, but I didn't, so it doesn't matter. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.